Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Mod Driven. Today, I'm going to be putting some hood struts on my Honda Civic, getting rid of that nasty bar that holds the hood up. What I've got over here, and there will be a link down below if you're interested in checking them out, they are red carbon fiber look. I'm sure it's not real. And of course, they go on each side of the hood. So we're going to go ahead, jump right in and get started. First of all, if your Civic is like mine, the windshield wiper tubing here had a little holder that was holding it in this hole. That's where we're going to affix one of the holders for the struts. Now, the hood, or the little holder, looks like this. It just kind of clamps down right over that edge, so you just pop this off. And then what I'm going to do, once I have the struts in, I'm going to go ahead and stick it right up here. So instead of it being there, and I'm talking about the tubing for the windshield washer fluid, it's going to be in there, but we're going to do that last. So first off, we need to go ahead and put the holders in. The first ones I think I'm going to do are the top ones because they're pretty simple. They look like this. By the way, the instructions for this are horrible. Let me show you guys. These are the instructions it came with. Something printed off of a laser printer. Not very good. Not very good at all. So make sure you watch this to do the install. We're going to start with these. As I mentioned, it looks like this. They're going to be on the inside. The little nub is going to be on the inside of the hood on both sides. Washer on the outside, and then a nut against the washer like you see here. Now, I am going to use some blue Loctite just to hold these in place a little bit. Doesn't call to do that. Don't know if it's necessary, but now's the time, so we're going to do that as well. The wrenches you need for this, the bigger side is a 12 millimeter, and then the nut that you're going to put on the other side is a 10 millimeter. So you want to grab those because you're going to need them. Go ahead and put the holder in there. Just put my hands all over the blue Loctite. That's always good. Go ahead and tighten that sucker on there. Okay, we'll do the same thing to the other side. Okay, I jumped ahead of you guys a little bit, but we'll catch you up over on the other side. I went ahead and got the strut installed on the driver's side. I do have a tip for you. You know, a lot of people will run this bolt through from underneath and then have the bolt sticking up out of the top with the nut on it. The washer would be on the bottom, of course. That's not the right way to do it. I mean, if you look around at the rest of the vehicle, you don't see any nut or bolts sticking up, right? Everything is on the top. Now, I know why they did it that way, because it's more difficult to do, but I have a quick tip for you. And why I say it's more difficult to do is because you have to get the washer and the nut and get it under here and hold it. There's a ledge over here, and it can be more complicated to do without dropping stuff in there, and you never want to do that. So what I did, you can see there's a little bit of double-sided tape on each corner of the nut. I just stuck it to the washer, and I'm going to pull it tight enough it won't matter. But that way I can keep it all as one piece when I stick it under there and have it look nice and finished like that side does. So next up, we got to put a little bit of blue Loctite on here, and then we're going to hold that bolt under, and I'll show you, and thread it in from the top. It takes a 13 millimeter wrench and 13 millimeter socket for the two fixtures, or the two brackets, I should say, that we have to put on here. So just so you know, I just tighten it down, get this thing straight across like so. We do want it running parallel or straight across to the other one, the other nub, if you will, so that we get a nice straight shot for the hood strut itself. And I would just use it to kind of give yourself an idea of where it should be, see how you line up, and I think that's pretty good right about there. So let me tighten it down and we'll put the strut on. Okay, we've got it on, tightened down. One more tip for you. Before you put the struts on, you should run them up and down about 5 times, just to get them good and primed and flexible, I guess. And you do that by putting a rag or a glove or something on your hand. Keep the big top or big part at the top, and then just balance it on the ground on something where it's not going to slip off or bend, and just push it in and out about 5 times, just to get it good and ready to go. So now we're going to go ahead and put the strut on. I'm going to start at the top. Just kind of want to put it on at a little bit of an angle and kind of roll it onto the ball, if you will. So let's give that a shot, see how that works. And it can be a bit of a bear to do, so be prepared. I may actually have to grab a glove. Actually, that time it went right on, no problem. Huh. It's on there. And then you want to put it on at the bottom. Now, one thing I noticed, the hood with the, the rod in it's a little bit low. So I'm going to use my shoulder. Obviously, if you have somebody to help, it would be better. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and lift it up a little bit. Now, before I do that, I am going to remove the rod altogether because I'm not going to use it anymore. So rather than having it down here, and of course it would be under the strut, so you couldn't use it anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pull it out. Now, you should be able to do that just by kind of twisting it out of the holder. Let's see if I can do that one-handed. There, just like that. You just kind of have to angle it right. Now, let's go ahead and again balance the hood with our shoulder because we have to lift it up a little bit. Get it at the right position, and then go ahead and do the same thing to put this one on at the bottom. Kind of roll it on with your fingers. Just like that. That's it. Now, if it's working, the hood should stay up, right? And you see the hood is staying up. That's a good thing. Now, let's give it a test and see if indeed the hood does rise by itself. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure we have clearance, of course. So, gently. And it appears we have clearance. There's no real issue there. Now, let's see if it actually holds the hood up. It does. It doesn't fly up like I would expect it to with other applications, but that's probably due to the angle of the struts. They're not so much straight up, but it is a one-handed operation, like so. And then you don't have to screw with the hood's rod anymore. All right, got it all done. One thing I wanted to point out, that windshield washer fluid hose, I did have it on the inside. I actually pulled this off and moved it to the outside because it was just binding under here. I didn't like it, and it was getting caught up here in the top of the strut. So I moved it to the outside, and to protect it from the end of the screw here, I put a grommet over it. You guys can see this is just a rubber grommet, just to keep the hose from rubbing up and down against the bolt that's there, so that it hopefully never rubs through and causes a problem. Anyway, it's all done. You guys can see it does hold the hood up. When we take it down, it is pretty free moving. We put it up about right there. You do have to assist it in putting it up. It doesn't pull it up, but again, I think that's probably due to the angle, which you can't get away from. This is primarily how every hood strut producer out there makes them. So it's pretty good. I like it. I like the red carbon fiber look. I think that looks pretty cool. And it does the job. I did stow the rod in the trunk, kind of wrapped it in bubble wrap so it wouldn't rattle around, put it in the trunk, and I'm going to forget about it. Anyway, that is the hood strut install for the Honda Civic. This is the 10th gen. Mine is a 2020. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Do you have these or considering getting them? I'd be curious to know. And don't forget, there is a link down below. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. Rob Motive, all about the Toyota Tacoma, and Rob Motive JT, all about the Jeep Gladiator. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? And while you're at it, smash the subscribe button here too. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.